2026. It is a lovely Thursday, and we're going to go ahead and get right into our Make It Make Sense collective reading slash energy forecast. Yes. So I took a moment to meditate on the energy with our Egyptian tarot deck just now, and I got a very clear picture of a layout to do today. So if you've been with me for a while or you are familiar with my Oracle Empress catalog that can be located within our Empress tools on the Empress Network at empressblack.com. Of course, the master key in the description box is where you're able to locate, you know, the master key, which pretty much houses all the links for the different pages and portals built into our system. So with Empress Tools, that is where you're able to find more specifically our Oracle Empress collection of past readings that I've done. So I have picked up on twin flame soulmate energy for quite some time without intentionally going into the reading saying, okay, this is a divine partnership type style reading. I just kind of naturally picked up on the energy, being that I guess, I resonate with that energy. I am a twin flame that is not in union, but I most definitely know how to read energy and identify, what's what in that regard. So today we're going to do a divine partnership reading. We're going to look at, divine masculine specifically, divine feminine energy specifically, and then the combined energy of the union, okay? Or, union, whether you're presently in union or in separation, okay? It's still, a union, all right? So we're going to use our Egyptian tarot deck to get some keywords. These are higher level relationships and commitments that have, a great deal of purpose, in life and love as well, to show the beautiful people in the world what love is, okay? True love, unconditional love, a healthy, loving foundation, okay? So that is one of the, jobs and responsibilities for twin flames, and why there's so much necessary work that needs to be done before, union comes together, okay? But with that being said, our Egyptian, deck, we know gives us some more higher level energy, messages and so forth to assess. So that's why we are starting here today, getting our keywords. I very rarely use this deck. Pardon all the background music. That's what we start calling it. Okay, from the slamming doors in the building, one of the beautiful gifts of living there, the stairwell, and then the train, within eyesight, So, pardon that background music in advance. All right. Divine masculine, divine feminine, and combined energy of this union. Thank you, Divine Source, for clear and direct messages, insight, and guidance. And to you, the viewer, I trust, hope, and pray that wherever you are in the world, that you are well in mind, body, and spirit. divine masculine energy first, please. All right, so that came out real quick and sharp. The Ace of Swords, okay? So we have some sort of divine truth, divine messages here coming from divine masculine's energy, okay? We're getting a truth speaker, okay? A truth teller, someone who is highly intuitive, very much so connected to the divine, okay? You get divine guidance straight from the source, and this divine masculine is able to also recognize when, you know, the divine, the Most High God source is using another human being to relay a message that is of importance. Okay, divine feminine energy, message for divine feminine's energy presently. All right, Jesus. Okay, so this is interesting. We have death here with the Emperor, with the Eight of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. Let's go ahead and get these key messages here. Definitely want to stay neutral. I'm just like, whoa, okay. What is that? Let's start with the Ace of Swords for divine masculine's energy. All right, so the Ace of Swords is the crown of Hathor, dynamism, struggle, and fecundation. If I don't know these words, I'm gonna look them up, okay? Because we're gonna get some clarity here today. This is the master class of the Make It Make Sense, okay? Let's look at dynamism first. All right, dynamism means having great energy, force, or a desire to make progress. It describes people or things that are full of life, power, and continuous change, okay? Then we have struggle, okay, which is kind of the opposite, but these are key words, so it's pretty much whatever resonates. And then fecundation. Let's look up fecundation. Fecundation means the biological process of fertilization or impregnation, where male and female reproductive cells join to create a new living thing. It also refers to the act of making soil rich and fruitful by adding nutrients or fertilizer. Okay, so when we look at biological fecundation, that is sperm and egg fused in animals, pollen and ovule joined in plants, results in a new organism. And if we're looking at this from agricultural fecundation, it enriches dirt or soil, uses manure or fertilizer, and helps plants grow well, okay? So fecundating is the action of making something fertile, fruitful, or pregnant. All right, so with the death card here and the Emperor, we have, because they came out together, we have to read them combined. And then we're going to take the Eight of Pentacles as the combined energy since it was on the bottom of the deck, okay? So for death, we have transformation, destruction, and rebirth. Run through all forms of being under the domination of time. Then we have, it says transformation again. surprise, beginning and end, rebirth, freedom, and balance. So these are the key words here for divine feminine's energy. And we also have the emperor. Okay, so the emperor's key words are accomplishment. The ruler sits on a cubical stone as nothing can withstand steady, creative willpower, stability, authority, integrity, and indestructibility. Indestructibility. All right, so those combined represent divine feminist energy here. I'm going to, of course, clarify both, and I'm going to journal this. I'm starting a new notebook. So from the readings that I do, I'm going to go back and watch them, like replay, and take important notes from them and do my own little homework. And if there's anything that I got insight wise that I didn't necessarily get into the reading, once I do the next reading, I'll introduce or start off the next reading with any type of channeled messages or insight I might have gotten, or dots I may have connected later. That's how we're going to do that moving forward. Okay, so the combined energy again is Eight of Pentacles. So let's look at the Eight of Pentacles for the energy combining divine masculine and divine feminine. This is the sacred tree. Stability, manual or commercial ability, professional capacity. Very fascinating. All right, so before we move forward and I, further clarify with the cards, so what I'm getting here was starting with divine masculine's energy, that presently divine masculine has very fruitful, fertile energy, meaning if there's anything that he has a desire to create or produce or, pour into, invest his time, energy, or resources into, that they're going to multiply, there's going to be an increase. So with our traditional understanding of what the Ace of Swords energy stands for, that's giving me, he's gaining some sort of light or revelation, or insight or direction as to exactly what, he should be sowing into, investing into, nurturing, etc. Because his energy is so valuable, okay, is, very healthy, and it's to be managed responsibly. Okay, that's what I'm getting for divine masculine. Now with this death here with the emperor for divine feminine, I'm getting, okay, anybody that knows me, outside of just and so forth with my other businesses, I manage things things along the lines of helping people with their financial house, okay? So when it comes to income protection with life insurance, I've also been studying and getting more into, securities and trust, and, learning how I can help people with constructing their wills and, just their financial matters to be able to pass down to their loved ones, their family, that type of stuff. So with the death and the emperor from, the more traditional decks, the energy is giving me that this is where divine feminine is pretty much focusing her energy and time, her resources, what she's investing into doing more of, as a server, someone who serves people, and any type of work that she does, she looks at it more as a server than a job. Okay. And with great responsibility. I'm getting here that with the Eight of Pentacles combined, that some sort of stability is going to be gained from this work that Divine Feminine is pretty much committing to. Okay, I'm definitely getting committing to. With the transformation, we know rebirth. Um, we can look at this also from the stance of people being in unfortunate, unpleasant situations, whether it be with their health, with their financial matters, um, just the quality of life, and desiring something new, new opportunities. Um, I'm getting here that Divine Feminine has a great gift on her hands that she's able to offer, the right people who are looking for what it is that she has, to offer. So whether that be, as we stated, let's use specifically what I'm doing and what I offer as an example. Um, but this could be within any industry or line of work or business, product, service type of thing. So we know that income protection or life insurance, if you know about it, is geared to help, you know, men and women protect their families in case of loss of life or, sudden, health challenges that, surprise us all the time and we're not necessarily prepared for in many instances when it comes to savings and being able to miss time from work and all that type of stuff. So that's considered a gift when you're able to offer an option where they're able to be prepared for what life surprises them with or their families with, okay? So there's also, when there's an income earning opportunity attached to that, where you're able to offer someone who may be not working at all or not receiving the level of income that they should be with their talents, their skills, their abilities, their network, their relationships, and their connections. A lot of times we've seen it where different things have transpired within the economy or within the world that are completely out of our control, but people have to, you know, downsize and, reduce their lifestyle and jobs and all of that type of stuff, and they're not necessarily earning what they should be with their, you know, level of skills and knowledge and so forth. But they have to do what they have to do to make a living. So when you're able to free someone, freedom was one of the key words for death as well. Or you're able to rebirth, initiate a rebirth process in someone's life by taking them out of, misfortune and unfortunate situations into something that is more in alignment with the truth of who they are, which could be very much so the emperor energy, which we know is more of a leader, someone who is highly respected, someone who basically sits on a throne and, calls shots. So they have people that come to them for direction, guidance, support. They run an empire in so many words. This is someone who is gonna one day leave behind a legacy. So with that, you being able to make that sort of the difference in somebody's lives is valuable. It's very valuable, okay? A true gift. Now, looking at the Eight of Pentacles and the combined energy, we know, as we stated in the beginning, with twin flames and soul mate relationships that are of a higher level, whatever title you want to align with. Um, you can say husband and wife, my divine counterpart, to keep it simple, whatever, because some of these names and titles have unfavorable, like, attachments to them, where people have misused them or misunderstood them, and people are like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That ain't me, or I don't want that or need that type of stuff. But not knowing that outside of the title or name that was slapped on it, the foundation of what it represents is what matters the most. So the union, the divine partnership here with the Eight of Pentacles in the center, that's very beautiful. This shows that presently, whether divine masculine and divine feminine are in a marriage, sharing a home, a household, working together or not, that their energy is still stable individually, that they are working within their purpose, their mission, they're doing what they're here ultimately to do, that they have taken the time or invested the time in figuring out what they're supposed to be doing in their life, who they're supposed to be doing it for, and ultimately committed to doing that. And they're making a difference on whatever scale, okay? Because we know that the numbers don't matter so much. Social media kind of tricked us a lot of times in a lot of cases to believe that if we don't have a bunch of followers, subscribers, and engagements and likes and stuff, then we're not impactful or we're not making a difference. But we know the reality is, the results, okay? Like the people who, God forbid, you leave this beautiful earth today, the people who are going to be touched by your absence, that are going to pause and reflect on, the difference that you made in their life, the contributions that you made, the things that you taught them, the guidance, the wisdom, whatever you contributed. So what I'm getting here is, if you, divine masculine or divine feminine, has done that to just one person, that one person can become the most powerful president of who knows what, where, when, why, and how, or create and produce that, we never know. So we don't get caught up on numbers in regards to influence, and true impact when we're talking about these type of unions. But needless to say, the energy is looking good thus far, okay? All right, so let's proceed to, I think I'm going to keep going with the tarot. Okay, we had the Nine of Wands and Seven of Pentacles wanted to fly out, okay? With the Page of Cups. Let me see something real quick. Mhm. Divine masculine's energy. Let's clarify this is the source for divine masculine's energy. Okay, too many. Something's telling me we need one. Clarify the ace of swords for divine masculine. You not ready for this deck? You know, I saw another deck in my head, so let me shuffle one more time. If nothing comes out, we going. Okay, that's 4 cards. Let's see. We have the Four of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles with the Nine of Swords. Very interesting. 44.99. Let's start here. All right, so okay, and they came out literally in the order that they came out in. So with this, I said 4. I meant 5 of Pentacles. Sorry, 5 of Pentacles with the 4 of Wands. So what I'm getting here is this energy looks like for divine masculine. Divine masculine may be, I was getting this earlier when I said like a truth teller of some sort, someone who is very connected with the Most High God. And we see here with this 5 of Pentacles, this what are they called? The rose tinted, or the windows, you know, that you normally see in churches and cathedrals and stuff like that. You have people that are in very unfortunate situations here that are outside in poor weather conditions, and poor health physically, outside of what looks like it could be some sort of church or place of worship. And then you have here next to it the 4 of Wands. So I'm getting that these divine masculine is the interruptions. Boy, when they start, don't they? Okay. I'm getting here that with this union, okay, divine masculine recognizes he has a responsibility to be able to reach and help people that are in these types of situations. Okay, there's some sort of responsibility there. So this could be anyone, anywhere from, you know, the homeless, more specifically. These could be, you know, how you have organizations for like veterans, and you know, then you have some that are more catering towards, you know, children, like that are misplaced and things of the sort. So helping people to gain some sort of stability, because we know the Four of Wands outside of um, 1111, twin flame union card. Again, this is being an example to show people, the what's possible, because you've achieved it, you've done it for yourself, and now you're able to, or in position to, support and help others. So I'm getting that divine masculine is already aware that, his union is greater than he could ever, the purpose of the union is greater than anything that he can potentially process and completely, understand. Um, I'm getting that this is going to be a union that requires a great deal of world travel, connecting with people around the world, and being equipped to be able to reach and connect with people who have less than, who, are just in unfortunate situations in poverty, and being able to provide them some sort of hope, some sort of healing, restoration, recovery, okay, recuperating. That's what is going to be done here collectively. All right, so with this Nine of Pentacles and Nine of Wands here, um, I'm getting almost similar energy, except for with Divine Feminine's energy. I'm feeling like this is more Divine Feminine. To Divine Feminine, as far as who she is, she's this Nine of Pentacles energy, someone who is very grounded, practical, stable, secure, someone who is able to analyze any given situation, get the details, the facts, and, do what needs to be done with that information responsibly. I'm also getting here that she's very nurturing, healing, and fruitful. Okay, so wherever she goes, whatever room she steps into, she shines. Her presence is appreciated, respected, and admired. Okay, people listen to the things that she has to say because they, you know, are of value. Okay, they nourish their soul. They help them to come out of and free them from any type of mental entrapment or illusions. Okay, they're able to free people that may have thought that, certain things weren't possible for them. Okay, um, she's she is, and she's evolving more into becoming, that living example. Okay, to help people to release those nightmares, those fears, those illusions, okay, those mental entrapments, that doubt, that poor self-talk, okay, the things that they may have been told that have nothing to do with the truth of who God created them to be, okay. So I'm getting here that Divine Feminine is an energy that practices what she preaches or teaches, okay? Definitely freeing people mentally, okay? Mental freedom. And I didn't want to mention it earlier, but I'm seeing it here because with the Death card, we had, rebirth, transformation came up twice in the keywords. And years ago, I came up with the concept of the black card, okay, the EBT card first. Okay, so the EBT and EBT card stood for Experience Black Transformations. So, being that my brand, my business, my company is all about that, you know, healing, transforming, you know, transforming your mindset to be able to elevate, who you are and your quality of life and your ability to earn and, be self sufficient and reliable, reliant on self type of stuff, and whatever it is that you do. Okay, so with EBT, we know in the States, in America, as our um, SNAP benefits or food program where the government, you know, provides you with what we call an EBT card where you're able to access the funds provided from the government to get groceries and things of the sort. So with that, I'm not here to talk down or throw shade on anybody because I most definitely had a season where, a short season, but a season nonetheless, where I was a recipient of food benefits and I had an EBT card. And, it was short lived, but it helped me to be able to eat for a couple months. Um, I've had family members and friends and people who have children, and that's how they've been able to, put food on the table and feed their households. So I don't make any type of joke or light of it, but I do recognize like anybody that feeds you, they can control you, okay? And my mindset was to make sure that we're always in position to be able to feed ourselves. That's, physically with actual food on the table, but also, you know, spiritually, mentally, in whatever area of our lives that we need it, okay? Which is all, if you ask me truthfully. So I get my spiritual food, from my spiritual teachers and guides that, I learn from and listen to. My holy books accompanied with those lessons and those lectures, studying them as well. Um, and also just traditional personal development books that aren't necessarily the Holy Bible or the Holy Quran or the Torah or, those specific, holy books. There's plenty of books in the stores and in the libraries and audio books that can help us to learn important things to help us become better people, live better quality of lives, to be able to um, take care of our loved ones and, our family and friends, our communities better, okay? So, with that being said, EBT, is where we go from the EBT card to the black card, okay? That's transforming, your mindset to be able to basically live a better quality of life, okay? Because we know with the black card, in banks and credit and lending and so forth is known for being limitless. Okay, you got access that other people don't have that. Okay, type of stuff. So yeah, that's here. That's on the table today, and it's been a while since I've been moved to break down that explanation, but the key word had transformation in it twice today. And experience black transformations that's what that was all about. Is all about. All right, so we have the Two of Pentacles here. This is the combined energy. Clarifying the Eight of Pentacles here. All right, so there may be some sort of, or may have been, some sort of weighing options. I'm getting these options to be more tangible than like people, like weighing up which way do we go, okay? So the pentacles represent, you know, resources, opportunities, contracts, um, like tangible things, where to live, forms of transportation, um, where to set up your business or your office or your, you know, foundation, okay? I'm getting that here. So this could have been something that has been being done separately, okay? Um, by one, either divine masculine, divine feminine, or both together, okay? With divine masculine showing up in, some fruitful, fertile energy. We could be thinking about things like starting a family, or expanding a family, and wanting to make sure that wherever you decide to um, buy a home, build a home, um, whatever makes sense, where is the safest place to do that, okay? Um, where what community, state, region, country, offers the best overall as far as like whatever you're looking at. So if you're looking at, I started with safety, quality of life, if spiritual and religious beliefs is important to you, where your spiritual house will be best nurtured, okay, your community. For example, we know that there's places in the world who respect, more of the Islamic um, community and religion than others, okay? Some places have like little to no respect for, I'm using this as an example. So living somewhere where you will feel safe and your family is going to be able to connect with like-minded, like-spirited people, that type of stuff I'm hearing could have also been weighed up and considered here when it comes to this union, which is important, very important, okay? Okay, definitely important. When we're talking about new life here and the sun here, okay? So, divine masculine either wants to give birth to a son, okay, or a child, but, sometimes parents, want a specific, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, we got the high priestess here for divine feminine. Okay, so divine feminine most definitely has a great deal of responsibility at the work that she does. Okay, um, I'm hearing that if she hasn't been receiving in accordance to the value that she offers with the work that she does, that is changing, that is like shifting presently. I'm not sure what's taking place behind the scenes that is causing this, change and shift in energy, but it's definitely something that's happening for her to support her in being acknowledged, respected, honored, appreciated, and receiving in accordance to, her true value. Okay. Um, I'm getting that there may have been many attempts to block and stop her from doing the work that she does and is here to do. Getting like witch hunt type of energy. People aren't what they don't understand, they fear type of business. So her powerful nature, okay, has definitely been feared by those who have something to hide ultimately, and know that she can bring an end to whatever is out of alignment with, you know, the real work, the real vision, the truth, the light, the healing, the restoration, humanity is what I'm getting here. We have the Knight of Wands energy here in between. I was just saying to myself um, how I like did a quick drive by when it came to the sun coming out for divine masculine's energy, and the birth of a son and wanting to give birth to a child. But the Knight of Wands here, being the combined energy, is confirming that you know there's some very passionate energy like between the connection. Okay, so both divine masculine and divine feminine are feeling a fiery, passionate energy, within them that they want to embrace, you know, with their divine counterpart. Okay, that's here. That's here. It's mutual. Divine masculine's energy. We got the sun and the moon both came out for divine masculine's energy. Wow. The sun and the moon here for divine masculine. So the truth that is coming to light um, regarding how divine masculine truly feels, you know, he's ready to express. And I'm hearing that this expression is going to be very passionate and heartfelt and undeniable. Undeniable. I'm hearing with the high priestess here, divine feminine could be feeling like something like this could be coming, or could just know that, you know, divine masculine may have not been forthcoming in sharing the depths of, his emotions and feelings in regards to this connection and his vision for it, his desires for this connection. Divine feminine, further insight for divine feminine. That's so funny. I just got a LinkedIn notification about life insurance, opportunities. That's funny. Okay. We have the Six of Pentacles to clarify the High Priestess here. Okay. So, again, Divine Feminine, I'm about to pull your energy from some other decks real quick because we're definitely having, your energy looks so good today, as far as, your purpose, your, how you exude your energy, how you give back and, sow into others and the difference that you make, in the lives of others so selflessly, I'm getting specifically, okay? And we have the Fool here that also came out, so I'm getting that this is the combined energy and, there's a healthy, balanced, stable foundation here that is going to support, whatever it is that divine masculine and divine feminine have a desire to do within their divine partnership and their union, okay? Definitely both healers in their own way, in their own right, okay? I'm definitely getting that the focus of, we have a lot of pentacles here, so this is very grounded. Then the next we have the from pentacles to wands. So passionate, creative, full of vitality, like hot in a good way. Oh man, this is grown people business for sure. Real grown people business. I can feel it. I feel the energy, okay? But it's definitely something that's needed to be, you know, experienced by these two and seen by those who are blessed enough to, you know, see what it is that they decide to share with the world in regards to the love that they share with one another, what they create together, what they create, produce, build. Okay. How they give back. Okay. How they receive in abundance, and have more than enough to pour into whatever that they choose. Okay. So being that there's been some experience with mental conflict and confusion and overcoming that, learning how to overcome that, as well as financial challenges, individually and collectively. This union is going to be able to teach from experience and really just make the world of a difference. Okay. I'm getting that this love child that could be produced or come from this union, that it's possible that this could be a very gifted mentally, spiritually, like a real leader child. And they will inherit a great deal of wisdom, resources, influence because of who their parents are, for sure. Okay. Let me see what we get from our goddess power. Messages for this divine partnership. Goddess power messages for this divine partnership. All right, we have salvation, number 18 with green Tara. Okay, that sums to number 9. Salvation. All right, we have Mama Killer with the moon, number 32. Okay. Salvation and the moon. We have the moon out here twice. Let's get one more. I'm hearing both divine masculine and divine feminine have had some things, I don't want to say secrets, but more or less like if there are secrets, it's more or less behind how they feel about one another, that they haven't had the confidence to share openly, okay? That's coming to surface here. We do have our lunar eclipse here with these 2 moons. A lunar eclipse in Pisces next week. So somewhere in between now with the sun and the moon, we had the solar eclipse last week in Leo. And then we have the lunar eclipse in Pisces next week. So, yeah. There is, let me see something from the book. Salvation. All right, so the salvation, our empowerment message, the divine has intended you into being and given you the assignment to explore life through certain perceived limitations. You are meant to learn about life and all its complexities, especially learning about how to be in community with others. Green Tara, a Tibetan goddess also known as She Who Saves. Okay, divine masculine, this is your message here. Okay, he who saves, but we're looking at the energy. She who saves says that you will never be alone in life's journey. This compassionate savior, goddess of intimate friendship, will ensure that the right people will show up for you at the right time. Green Tara reminds you that your needs will always be met. You don't need to know the quote unquote how, as that is her domain. You just need to trust, and the goddess Green Tara will use her magic on your behalf. You are safe and secure and always in the care of the divine. Your enlightenment message, okay, divine masculine. Green Tara, known as She Who Saves, is here to remind you that salvation is contingent on your willingness to release your ego conflicts and surrender your wants and unmet desires to the divine. Do you find yourself swimming in a nagging spiral of dissatisfaction? Are you comparing yourself to others and always coming up short? Do you feel entitled to the manifestation of your wants arriving in the only form that you will accept? When you are suffering from longing and wanting, you are like a hungry ghost that will never be fed and blind to the opportunities that are truly yours. Never fear. Just as a true friend will let you know when you're off track, Green Tar will let you know when you're out of alignment. She will save you from the destructive qualities of hubris, entitlement, and elitism, as well as the consciousness of lack with the following alignment task. Get right with yourself and the world again. First, know that you are exactly where you need to be right now. And if that means empty for a time, that is perfect. Instead of looking at what isn't there, bless every tiny aspect of your life with deep gratitude. Green Tara will show you that the world is your friend. You've only been fighting against yourself. You will then recognize the earth as a place of joy and abundance. Okay? Alrighty. And Divine Feminine, Mama Kila, with the moon, La Luna. Okay? Divine Feminine, with the High Priestess, that's you. Okay, your empowerment message is Mama Killa, the Incan goddess of the moon, presides over the power of cycles. The moon rules the night sky, returning full 13 times in a year. The ancients marked time by the moon to know when to plant, when to harvest, when to store food, and when to celebrate fertility. Right now, you are invited to see what is familiar and decide whether you need to improve on it or leave things as they are. The answer to your inquiry can be found in the timing of things and the cycle you're in. You can apply the idea of natural cycles to relationships, creative projects, personal growth, and more. If you are honest with yourself, you will see there is no way to control these cycles, only to use the creative energy they offer to help you. If your relationship is unclear yet brimming with potential, you might turn to the new moon energy that shows up in the spring cycle of life. In that case, you just need to allow your relationship to grow naturally and be clear in your intentions. When your outer world seems to be slowing down, the obstacles rising up and temporarily blocking your every move. Do not put up a resistance. Instead, take advantage of the need to rest and recalibrate your intentions as you wait for the cycle to change. No matter what, like the cycles of the moon, there is divine order in everything that is happening in your life right now. Once you know this, the goddess Mama Kila welcomes you to her divine moon dance of co-creation. Okay, so both you and divine masculine got fertility showing up and understanding, cycles and when to plant and when to expect your harvest and all that, okay? Sounds like a little bit of wisdom in that regard. Okay, your alignment message, Divine Feminine, is sometimes you feel out of sync with life. Frustrated that the universe isn't providing you with what you desire. Do you want what you want exactly how and when you want it and feel like the great goddess is ignoring you? You may be wanting something to happen faster than it's meant to occur. Remember, the conditions of your life are temporal and ever changing, pardon me. Maybe you've just been unaware of the cycle you're in, and so you've been missing the signals. The moon goddess Mama Kila knows the cycles intimately, and she'll let you know when it's time for the next phase. Mama Kila is always on track with the cycles of creation, and you must trust this wisdom. Her alignment task for you is to recognize and work with the natural cycle you are in. You will be amazed as alignment with the rhythm of the universe allows you to once again co create consciously and surrender to life on life's terms. What a beautiful dance with Mama Kila offers you her support. All right, we have water mama culture after that, so I'm gonna take a sip. So, with that being said, I'm gonna close this out here. I'm gonna do a separate reading for the collective. This is specific. I know I started out saying collective reading, but this is more or less divine partnership specifically. Okay. Um, the collective, of course, can benefit from whatever they could learn from it, but this is more high level. Um, and I'm gonna close out with this. The other day, pardon me, was that Monday or Tuesday? It's presently Thursday, so one of those days this week, earlier in the week, I I had a training with my team with the business, okay, the financial services business that I do, and when we got off that training, I instantly had to go to, my yoga mat slash prayer rug and, just take a moment to just worship, just say thank you, express gratitude, just give thanks to God because literally as I put my face into the floor, into my mat, the words that came out of my mouth was timing is everything. And I've known that, I've been preaching about divine timing for a long time now. But, these reminders, when they come, they come. And, I'm grateful for it. But, that message for divine feminine was most definitely for me. And I'm grateful for the reminder. So, with that, I'm just going to continue to show up, and do the best that I can every day. And, just keep learning, growing, and evolving and developing my skills, my knowledge, and trying to serve and assist, as many people as I can, Um, I'm looking for the people that are looking for me, and that's it, okay? I'm not looking to hound, harass, or, stalk or convince anybody, anywhere, of anything. I have a legitimate, services, and products that I'm able to offer people who need what we have, which are a lot of people. So I'm dedicated to committing my time to aligning with those people, letting them know that I'm here to serve them to the best of my ability. And if there's something that is out of my, league of experience, I know some phenomenal, qualified, people that I get the honor to work with that could help them better than I could. Okay. So that's where I'm at in this season. And yeah, with that, if you're somebody that resonates with and you want to learn more about what it is that I do and offer and want to support, let me know. I'd love to work with you. Okay? Other than that, divine masculine and divine feminine, keep being the beautiful beings that you are individually and collectively. Continue to work on yourself and, pray and express gratitude and just continue being the best version of you. And we got this, okay? We got this, all right? So, till next time, peace, blessings with a little bit of love sprinkled on top.